May 27, 2026. And the time is 10:44 a.m. Today is May 28, 2026, and it is 5:17 p.m. So it really, I test things out to see who are who the group is who are involved with just a really sick obsession with me. And I know that Cleveland RTA are involved. And there has been a drone, especially I was assaulted one day, and immediately after that assault that I know was set up, a drone lowered itself soon as I got off of the bus and then flew away. And so I want to then continue to test my my theory that Cleveland RTA are involved. They've been involved with the assaults and with especially there's a the supervisor Rosalind. I don't know. It's like, just get away from me. What is wrong with you people? Why do you want so much to be in my life? It's screwed up. And so anyways, today I was I got on bus 40 from at Southgate Transit Center. I came from I think that's right near Macedonia in Northfield. I came from Northfield. And so I got off of bus 32. Yes, 32, number 2347. I got off at Southgate Transit Center at 3:07 p.m. And then I stepped on bus 40 to Taft Eddy, and that was number 3319. So while I'm walking, I will record myself, and I'll my documentary of that day. And I do that deliberately because I want to see what reaction there will be to my words the next day. And there seems to be an ongoing coincidence where, from what I said last night, today there was an African female sat behind the bus and just stated how really loudly that to a complete stranger that her man passed away and she has just so many kids and she brought them up and now they're all doing so well in school. And it just seems it will never happen. All of this will just not happen until I will state my documentary, and then wait to see what then happens. So anyways, bus 40 to Taft Eddy will take me to the library, and it detoured off of Lee Road onto somewhere. Before that driver, it was an African female bus driver, before she detoured, she didn't stop and say, does anyone need to get off here because I'm going to keep going and not turn? She could have gone around the corner and then continued around Lee, but she didn't. She just stayed on South Taylor. So no one knew. I didn't know. I had no idea. What is she going to turn the corner? When is Delwood even going to come up so I can then walk down the street and come to the library? But an African male knew, and he's right when we were approaching Delwood. And I looked at the street and the off street, and it was South Taylor. He called out to the bus driver, "Can I get off here?" And so then when she stopped, I thought I better get off too because I have no idea where I am. But he did. And so he started walking first down Delwood, and I stopped and I was taking notes, and so then I ended up walking behind him. He then turned around and walked past me. He said, "Excuse me, I was typing in my phone. I didn't bother looking up." And then he turned around again, and now he's walking from behind me to in front of me. And then he turned around again and walked from in front of me to behind me. And so he did that more. Now his final step was that he walked towards me, and I'm now thinking, what is your problem? Because he's only taking a few steps, and he's not lost because he knew where to get off on Delwood. I didn't before Delwood. I didn't. Now when I then saw Delwood, I then know right away, because the street ended. I then knew, because Delwood doesn't keep going. It actually dead stops at South Taylor. And so at least that's what it looked like to me. It was South Taylor. I recorded it with my phone. And so obviously Delwood, the only place to go up towards Lee, to go up, the only way to get to Lee is then to just walk in that direction because Delwood hits Lee. So, and let's start off with the fact that this guy knew where Delwood was, because he asked the driver, "Can I get off here?" Now, when he then walked towards me, and he was wearing a gray sweatshirt and gray sweatpants, he put his hand in his pants, pulled them slightly down, and said, "Excuse me, I want to ask you a question." Now, I had enough, you guys. I can't take this anymore. And I told him, "God, you freaking people, what the hell?" And then he goes, "Oh, I just wanted to know if Lee was this way." Yeah, well, once again, Lee has to be that way. He already knew where Delwood was before we even hit Delwood. Because he asked, "Can I get off here?" And then when I said, I better get off too because I have no idea where I am. That's when I saw that we were on Delwood. I mean, right off, that's when I saw this. The street that we were traveling down was Delwood. So I then got off, and like I said, so he's like, "Oh no, I'm just wondering if Lee is this way." Now, what these nut jobs will do, who are so focused on me, and I have, they must blame me for just being born. I really don't know what the obsession is with me. I just have no interest in them having that obsession. Get away from me. Get on with your lives. I don't know. Buy more wigs. I don't know what will make you people happy. I just don't know. I know that before. Now I just want to backtrack 1 second. Before that driver stepped onto the bus at Southgate, she took a big hit at the entry of the bus door. Big hit of a vape. So basically, she was inside of the bus. Her head was inside the bus as she was stepping on it. She took a big hit of a vape. That's not allowed. But the dipshit just doesn't know that. So anyways, I then, the guy then ran this way towards, ran down Delwood towards Lee. But, my question is, does he have any relationship to Cleveland RTA? There was a woman who got on the bus, and I wonder, was she a relative of Cleveland RTA? She's, when she got on the bus, she said that she was a teacher. So is she a relative or have any association with Cleveland RTA? Because I'm just wondering, because they really do, they have so many times in the past planned these weird skits. And it's always coincidentally is exactly what I will deliberately say in my documentary as I'm talking outwardly into my phone. Now, after I yelled, well, now I'm going to get back, sorry, to Delwood. When I then yelled at that African male, you freaking, you're going to walk in front of me from behind me, back to the behind me. And we're talking like he just walked. It's picture walking down, you're walking down the street and someone just keeps, then comes here. And let's just say this is my back, this is my front, okay? He walks up here, stops, turns around, walks here, stops, turns around, walks. And then he put his hands on my slightly, look, buddy, maybe one of your little whores would like jump on that and think, oh yeah, give me another, freaking stroller. Not me. And then, like he's like, oh no, I'm just running where Lee Road is. Yeah, okay, well, he didn't even walk 50 feet to even think that he was lost. He just remained in my area. And then when he did start running towards Lee, a helicopter was above me. And that helicopter was nearby that whole time. So my question is, was that set up? Because what they do, these Cleveland RTA, Cuyahoga County Sheriff they are involved. They have stepped away and remained silent, but it's more of they're doing it but remaining silent. The transit police, they're still involved, but they're remaining silent. Cleveland RTA are very much still up front center. And it's obvious. And then, like I said, the helicopter then it was above us as he's doing that. But and the whole thing is to get my response. Whether they're recording, I don't know. But that's the whole reason, is to get my response, because what they want to do is they want to turn it to say, oh yeah, we've been stalking her, but look at what her reaction is to us stalking her, because she doesn't want us around. So we're not bad, she is. Go figure, right? It's just what, yeah.
All right, I hear something.